There's Rio.
Doesn't even want to look at you.
Really wants to go outside.
Alright. Hey.
So we're taking Rio, the village dog, for a walk. It's the summertime and tourists are here in the village. So he gets tied up at his house. He can't just roam around free like he normally does during the off season because he's been known. We don't have any proof of this, but apparently there's proof. But we haven't really been here in the high season like it is now. Even though during Corona, there's still actually quite a bit of tourists here. I think people feel like the islands are safer, quieter, and less people come. But when we go down to the beach, it feels like it's as busy as ever. The only people who are not here are non-European tourists. So everybody from Slovenia, Czech Republic, not many from the UK, the Germans are here. Lots of people from all over Europe are here. And actually, from what I heard, is that all the Airbnbs are fully booked for the season, which is good for the people that rely on that income, but it's not as quiet here as we thought it was going to be, especially down at the beach. So anyways, that's why Rio's tied up in the summertime, because he goes down there and he just wanders around and pees on people's towels, and a lot of the tourists complain. I mean, I guess if you're a tourist paying a lot of money to stay at a nice private little cove to go swimming for a week, you'd be mad too if the local dog came and peed on your stuff, I guess. So we talked to the owner, and the owner's totally cool with us taking Rio, back to our house or out for walks. But the downside is he's got to be on a leash. So today Marlene and I decided to go hike up to that mountain. That's called Vela Glova. Vela Glova is kind of village slang for big head, and that's what that little mountain peak, I wouldn't even call it a mountain, just a little hilltop. That's what the hilltop is called. It's called Vela Glova. And the story is, this is the tallest hilltop in the area. And back in the day, Roman times maybe, I don't know exactly the time, that was like the lookout spot. People would come and they would stay up there. A few people at a time would stay up there, and they'd be on the lookout for pirates, intruders, what have you. And then later on, when that's less of a problem, they were using it to look out for wildfires. So this is the road that takes you up there, and we haven't gotten to the real steep climbing part yet, but we want to go check out what's on the top. I've flown the drone up there once. Actually, I flew it. That was the last time I flew, I think. It didn't make it back to the house on the way back because there was a big headwind. And I flew here, kind of roamed around for a bit, and got below 50% battery, which meant that it needs at least 50% to come back from the distance that it took to get here. So yeah, I had to land it on the side of the road. Luckily, cars didn't come and run it over. So I haven't flown it since, but I do want to go climb to the top and check it out, because there's like just rubbles of what the little lookout house used to be on the top. And there is a dirt stone road that goes up there. I just don't know if our car can make it all the way up. So we drove about halfway. We're gonna hike the rest of the way and check it out. Okay. This is where we go to the right to go to the top. This way to go to some beach that we've never been to. Let's go, Rio. This way. Rio. This way. Not quite to the top yet, but you can definitely see pirates coming. If they're pirates, that is. But look at this. These are more secluded coves that typically you can't easily drive to. And over there you can see the end of the island of Brač, and then across from that is mainland Croatia. That right there I think is the city of Markiska, and then you keep going down all the way down there will be the end of Hvar Island, where we take the ferry from Drvenik to Sečuraj. Alright, a little bit more to go. Like right up here, it turns back up, switch back, goes up again, and then it'll be at the top. I'm actually very excited to be using this camera again. This is my big Sony full frame camera. As of like March or so, April, right after I came back from Morocco, this camera's been out of commission. The notorious microphone input jack went out, which goes out for a lot of people. A lot of owners of the Sony a7 III have their microphone jack go out. So I did some research. I found a video online of some guy taking his apart, replacing the jack with the ribbon cable, and it looked doable. I mean, versus sending it in and being without a camera for a couple months, paying like $300-400 to get it fixed. Mine's out of warranty, so it'll be out of pocket. So it didn't make sense for me to not at least try it. So I ordered the part from AliExpress, which actually took like 3 months to get here. And then last time we were in Split, it finally arrived in the mailbox of the apartment. So I took it apart. It was like crazy amount of disassembly required to get this thing apart. Like over 50 screws. You had to take out probably a dozen ribbon cables, a daughter board, the motherboard, had the full frame sensor completely out of the camera, and then I put it back together not knowing if it was going to work or not. So I've not actually made a video since I repaired it, so if it worked, then you're watching this video now using the new microphone input jack. So be very excited if this video works out good. Whew. I don't know how much of a climb this is, but it's more climbing than usual.
This is worse than Cineva.
Yeah, oh yeah. We did walk down to the beach one time and we had to climb back up. I don't know if it's worse. Maybe about the same. It's a cool little cove right there with the sailboat about to round the corner. What is this? Oh, somebody set up a little makeshift easel.
There's water.
And it's paved right here. Maybe this part gets washed out a lot because it's a switchback. Wow. I wonder if we can park the van right here.
Looks like you can.
Oh wait, no, it says no camping. Well, that's if anybody comes to check. Nice spot though, huh? You can see the other side of the village over here. Just a few houses. Wonder what that is. A little compound. Well, this entire last part of this road is paved. I mean, concrete. It's not even just asphalt, it's concrete. So, this is still used for something. Looks like it's kind of maintained. And that spot down there, the switchback, is awesome. Perfect little spot for camping. I just doesn't look like it's allowed, but I don't think anybody will come up here and check. Okay, this is as far as you could drive a car to right here, and then the last little bit, just a narrow little foot trail. There's a wooden building here. Just a big pile of rocks.
Looks like that used to be a tower.
Yeah, that's some kind of foundation. They used to support this tower. This tower fell over. What do you think, Rio? All right, this is the top. This is for the watchman.
Stop for Rio to see his kingdom.
Yeah. Here we are. We're on the top. It's pretty windy up here, so hopefully this wind socket's doing its job. But you can see the entire village, which is in like several sections. There's our end of the village is over there. That's kind of like a big cluster. That's where our bakery is. That's kind of where the little store is, the church. There's another little cluster right here, and then there's another little cluster right there, which is, I think Marlene has a cousin that lives over there on that side. And then there's all these little coves that kind of dot along the northern coast of the island. And you can see up the coast, over there is like Jelsa, Starigrad, the bigger villages, towns to the west. To the west. They're about sort of the middle of the island, and from here we're starting to be on the eastern side. The eastern side of the island of Hvar is much less populated. In fact, like Jelsa, which is over there, there's a little part that sticks out, and the other side I think is Jelsa. That's where people go shopping. That's where like the bigger grocery stores. Starigrad has like a hardware store where you can go buy building supplies. That's also where the main ferry takes you to from Split, takes you there. But from Jelsa into the east, there's no like chain grocery stores at all. So there's just the little stores. Actually, there's one chain all the way on the other side. Satura is on the other side of the island, the very, very eastern end. That's the closest part to the mainland. That's only a 30-minute ferry ride. It's a much cheaper ride, and it kind of goes all day. So we usually just drive down there so we can stay in the car. At least right now anyways, we can stay in the car when we're on the ferry, so we don't have to go out and use the public spaces during Corona. But yeah, this is great. This is really cool. Just imagine back in the day when people used to stay up here and be the watchman. This spot, it's called, like I said, Vela Glova, means big head hill, big head mountain. And the village that we live in is called Zastrazice, which is a derivative of the word Zastarzari, something like that. It means for the watchman. So this village is for the people that watch the island from this hilltop. we're actually on the top of the hill that the village is named after. Pretty cool. I mean, we've been coming to this village for over a decade, even longer than that actually. Marlene's been coming here since before she was a teenager, when she was a kid. And we never knew that's what the village is named after until this year. So that's pretty exciting for us to share with you, because we just learned it.
Hey buddy, you good? You tired yet?
You want to go back?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little fireman thing I forgot to show you on the end of the road.
Okay, let's go. We're still here a little early, but otherwise this would be a perfect spot to watch the sunset, which is not for another 2.5, 3 hours probably. Walking back is a little easier, downhill the whole way. So I wanted to thank our 3 new patrons on Patreon. Ruchas K joined our Patreon on June 23rd, and Christelle Ciarza, she has been following us for a long time. In fact, years and years and years ago, she got us into the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, our second time there. We had gone there the first time probably almost 10 years ago now, and then a couple years later she reached out to us. She was doing marketing outreach campaign for Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, reached out to us and wanted to see if we would take some photos, do some lifestyle photos at the Balloon Fiesta, and she would get us in to a premium spot for free. So that was really cool. So we worked with her, and I think we did an interview. We did some other social media campaigns with her. She just became a patron on the 28th of June. It's 3 weeks ago now. Well, a little more than 2 weeks ago now. So thank you both. And then just the other day, Ryan Kirkish became a patron as well, like just 3 days ago. And Ryan had a question which I responded to him already on Patreon, but I wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit on this video. He asked about, which is a question that we've been asked by a few people. So Ryan wanted to know about our choice for the F-250 truck with the 4-wheel camper, and if we had considered other campers. And the answer is yes, we have. And our reason for selecting that setup was very specific to us. So it doesn't always work for other people, but if you have kids, you have the same needs that we do, hearing our rationale for choosing that setup might help you. So specifically, we wanted something that could go down south into mainland Mexico, which means modern diesels, which is what we had. We had a 2016 diesel F-250. Then we also wanted a long bed because we wanted to have no overhang with the truck camper, because we still have the Airstream and we still wanted to be able to tow it. So any of the bigger truck campers are out. So that kind of left us with just a few options, and when we chose the 4-wheel camper with Alaskan camper as a close second. I stand by that choice, and it worked for us really well. And I think had we not come to Europe, we would still be in that setup. But Europe, made it that a 4-wheel camper on a F-250 not as practical because of its size, because of its fuel efficiency. So that's why we switched. But Ryan was talking about choosing between an older 6-liter F-350 diesel versus a newer 6.7 liter F-350 as well. But obviously the newer one is going to have more computerized equipment. It's going to have limitations on what kind of fuel you can put in. It will have to be ultra low sulfur diesel. So if you're just going to be doing North America, excluding Mexico, you'll be fine. US, Canada, Alaska, all of that area. ultra low sulfur diesel is easy. And you're going to get better fuel economy. You can have more power. The 6.0, I've not had any personal experience with it, but from what I understand, they can have EGR problems. So unless you remedy it, what they call bulletproofing, you could run into breakdowns. But from what I understand, there are specialty shops that do this work and you can get it done, and it would be a perfectly good choice. And that one, without the the DEF requirement and without the diesel particulate filter in the exhaust, you can take it everywhere once you feel like it's a reliable enough engine. So yeah, I think both of the choices are good. And I think a lot of people now are working from home and will be working from home probably for at least the next 6 months or so, if you work the type of job that allows you to. I think Ryan is a software engineer like myself, and even if you didn't work from home before as a software engineer, I think this pandemic made a lot of companies realize that it's possible, as long as the person that is doing the work can be self-motivated. So it does feel like a lot of people in that line of work are now buying campers and truck campers and vans and RVs, and have been planning trips, kind of like what we do. Not a vacation, but just go out and travel, live in the camper that you're in. Even if it's just for the next 6 months to a year, it's a perfect time to do that, assuming that you can do it safely. I hope this helps answer your question, Ryan, and thanks again for becoming a patron. All right. That wasn't too bad.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So this car is a Peugeot 208D or something like that. You could probably drive a car like this all the way up to the top of that mountain, but for some reason this car has a ridiculously low level of clearance. It just seems to scrape on everything, even if it's just barely protruding from the surface. So we try to be a little bit careful. Don't drive this car. This is Marlene's parents' car.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, I put on the air conditioning.
You scared?
Sorry.
Scared of the air conditioning. Yeah, so this is their car that they keep here in the village house and they use when they're here. So, we get to use it instead of having to drive the van around everywhere. We use this little car. It's registered in the village, so it's cheaper to take this car onto the ferry back and forth. It's like half off compared to a regular car. And it's way smaller than the van, so it's already cheaper to begin with. So yeah, so the last couple times when we went back to Split, we drove this. And we were able to park downstairs at the apartment very easily. Look at this guy.
Oh, he's saying, can you drive so that breeze comes in?
Okay. All right, let's drive.
Like at the end of this big thing.
We're gonna take Rio back to his house now. His owner is really, really nice older lady who lives full-time in this village, and we see her. She's probably one of the few people that live full-time in this area. We see her every time we're here, and she does have a son that comes regularly, and probably other relatives that come and check up on her. She's pretty old, but very healthy still. Still gardens, still does all the stuff around the house. And her kids come and help her, I'm sure, from time to time. But Rio's got a really nice family that he lives with. And that's why he's such a nice dog with such good demeanor. So that's it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching as always. Thanks to all the patrons for supporting us. And we'll see you guys in the next one. This is Rio's house. This is actually his house. He sleeps in here at night. But he's hanging out over here during the day on a leash. You gotta go home, Rio.
I don't want to go home.
We'll see you tomorrow.